The Ultimate Direction Ultra Vesta 5.0. As I had mentioned, Ultimate Direction was, I think, one of my first trail and ultra brand specific brand associations when I got into trail and ultra around 2001. At the time, I think I remember having a old camelback style camelback that I was using. I remember, I think, pacing for the first time the Hurt 100 out in Hawaii and training for Massanutten at that time and wearing that a bit on the back and just remembering how thick and hot it was. And I think at that time I had gotten a handheld or a quick draw or a fast draw from Ultimate Direction, which was just a really nice handheld, fairly basic design, which was just a soft kind of neoprene style material over the bottle, and just thinking it was pretty slick on that fast draw. So that would have been, at that point, Bryce Thatcher, now with Ultraspire, at the time designing for Ultimate Direction. One of the vests that I've most used over this past probably 10 years or however long it's been has been the original AK vest from Ultimate Direction. I was very sad this year. Somehow or somewhere I either lent it out or left it somewhere, and I haven't been able to find it. I'm pretty bummed because it's a really bare bones minimal vest that I've loved. The materials in the Ultimate Direction lineup, similar to the others that we've had in this review, it's just really wild how, I think, non-abrasive and perforated and breathable the materials have gotten. So in this one, as case example, not much different from the other ones we've already looked over, but it's a really thin perforated material. Really soft seams in the products. And it's pretty cool when I think back on that original camelback that I had, how far, how nice the designs have come in the hydration vests. So here in the Ultra Vesta on the 5th generation, in the women's specific design, also see a bit of contour here, though not as aggressively sculpted as the first couple in the review so far. Still 2 sternal cords. This one has multiple points of attachment, and you can also, you're not going to do it on the fly, but could take this out and move it up or down depending on your chest expansion or shape. These cords are not elastic like the other ones are, so they pretty much are as is. There is a point of tension here which you can tighten and loosen, and that fairly stays in place. But probably not as much expansion on the fly or, I guess, allowing for expansion of the chest with heavy breathing as some of the other 2 models we've looked at so far. And also, I personally have a tougher time with this clasp system. They're really small loops, and especially late in a race where your dexterity isn't quite as good, it's just a little bit tougher to grab that. In terms of this design as a whole, though, sorry, I guess skipped over to that. The listed weight is 180 grams or 6.3 ounces. Shop scaled weight at 7 ounces without bottles and 10.3 ounces with bottles. So also just a really light vest design. The volume of this one is 10.4 liters, so a good amount of storage. And the storage breakdown as we get into it. So looking at the front first, you've got a multitude of pocket options here. Let's just start from the top down. In this one, you have a water-resistant upper shoulder, or toward your left shoulder pocket on the top. It has a safety whistle tucked down into it, but also you could pack down some electrolytes into there if need be. Probably be the use, maybe a GoPro battery or something like that would fit in there. The 2 very visible soft flask body bottles, and the bottles that come with this are 500 milliliters or 17-ounce bottles. The 2 that are tucked into here are the men's bottles. The women's I left at home. But I'm going to show you the men's vest over here on the back side just because it's really quite similar to the women's, and I only had one of these in stock. But so the 2 body bottles in here, 500 milliliters at 17 ounces. As a general, I think a rough gauge for hydration out there, rough metric on a fairly, I think, hot day is your body may be able to process 20 ounces per hour. So 17 puts it in the ballpark of being out for typical separations of aid stations. So should be enough for most people that you could pack in there. But they would be the 2 noticeable pockets here. With the body bottle designs, with the Ultimate Direction on the current lineup in the 5.0, They do, I feel like, stick out of the pockets, and I have a tough time getting them to really seat down low into there. And when they stick out, I just feel like there's a little bit more shake or wobble to it. These don't have the extender straws to it. You could get an additional or attachment or an add-on, but these do not. And the vest isn't fitted to keep the extenders close to the body even if they were there. They do have the heads of the bottle shaped so they kick out and away from the body, or you could spin it the other way so it's riding fairly close. Outside of the body bottle pockets, you have on your right side a two-piece pocket here. You could stuff some gels down into those. Shop blocks would be a little bit long for that pocket, but they would sit in there. And you could probably get at least a couple gels in each one of those. So you can pack a decent amount of nutrition. Again, probably all you're going to need for between aid stations if you're racing or for an effort out on your own that you're going to need. On the left side over here, you have a just the lat pocket, the one on the side, as opposed to a second in the front. And the lat pocket over here is fairly big enough to put probably most phones in. Sticks out a little bit, but you can drop it in there and has a fairly secure fit along the body. The one on the right side, which you may not be able to see in that angle, is a fairly similar shape, but has a zipper to it. So you could put the phone right into there, zip it right up, and it's pretty secure. Looking at the rear of the vest, again, this is the men's equivalent, but the pocket design is really quite similar, so it'll work for these purposes. Quite a bit of storage in the rear pockets. You have two vertical zip pockets, one going in the front. You could tuck beanies, gloves, even an extra really small light base layer tee into those, or nutrition, whatever. In the drop-in pockets at the top, you have one on the outside, and then you have, opening it up, an additional one basically in a middle layer with a zip. You can put quite a bit of gear into that middle pocket. And in the upper, you have a reservoir pocket. This is big enough to accommodate a 3-liter reservoir, so there's a good amount of room in there. There's not really any padding or a padded layer between your skin and the bottle, so you'd probably, or the bladder rather, so you'd probably do well to have an insulated bladder in there, otherwise it would be heating up. But quite a bit of storage space, and that it has the clasp for holding the bladder so that it doesn't drop down in. This one also has the bungees, which are pretty noticeable on the back, and a point of tension at the top. And this allows you to stuff other gear on the fly, particularly something like a shell. You could reach over and stuff that right in here, which is pretty ideal, but this gives you further expansion that you could cinch down. You could also tighten that up, not really probably on the fly, but as you are sucking water out, you could potentially get to it and try to cinch that down a little bit. It does have a point of adjustment in terms of the sizing and also allowing some expansion. And this one you can get on the fly. You can reach back on the sides down and cinch that up, and it really takes it in here and also just cinches up what in effect would be the amount of room where the bladder could shift back there. But that's on the back. And then this one also is fitted with multiple pole options. So on the front, they have these bungees here on snaps. You can snap it out. There's an upper one and then there's a lower loop here. If you wanted the on the fly or in the motion using them off and on vertical pole configuration, you just tuck it into both of those loops. There's other bungees over here which you could use if you wanted to stuff them across in a horizontal fashion. And then you also have additional loops on the side which you could also play with if you were trying to go in a cross fashion from one shoulder across on either side. So quite a bit of options to that vest. This one, the Ultra Vesta, released, I believe, this update in 2020, and it doesn't get changed in 2021, I don't think. If it does, it's late 2021 or into 2022 before this one will update. So that is the Ultra Vesta. It prices out at $140, which I think is probably where it should be on the vest market. And I think that covers, yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. As I had mentioned prior, more important than me taking you through the specs though, will be Sheena and Nicole weighing in on the Ultra Vesta. So Sheena and Nicole, take it.
Okay, so this is the Ultimate Direction Ultra Vesta Signature Series, women's specific. It's a 10.3 liter vest. It comes with two 500 milliliter soft flasks to carry in the front, and it also has a back pocket for a water bladder, something that Nicole had an issue with. Yes, it holds a 4 liter bladder, and I had used it with a 2 liter bladder, which was definitely too small. And while running, you felt the bladder just kind of swishing along with you, which got a little uncomfortable, especially because the vest itself is a little bit on the loose side. It's hard to adjust all of the points to make it fit fully comfortable.
Yeah, the front straps have a lot of adjustment points, but you have to, like, it's not something that you can adjust on the fly. You have to take them apart and move them through these little loops, which is nice because they're secure, but really difficult to quickly get a good fit while moving or just before you're going to head out for a run.
Right. They also leave a very long string where it doesn't really have a lot of places to go. So I kind of tied this one up, which seemed to work to get it out of the way. But there might be another option to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another thing about the vest that I did like was there was a lot of storage. However, the storage in the back is super secure and almost too secure because it's really hard to access. There's multiple zippers and stash pockets, but they're all right in the middle of your back, so it's difficult to get at anything on the move. However, if you're out for a long day in the mountains or a much longer effort and you're not moving super fast, you know, you can carry quite a bit of stuff in this vest.
Right, you can take it off and you can get to the back, and it fills a lot. It's a lot of room back there, especially without a bladder. There's definitely a lot of space.
Yeah, out of all the vests that we tried, this one probably has the most space in the back for storage.
Yeah.
And water.
And when I had the bladder in, I actually was able to fit my phone in here.
Oh, okay.
And I closed it up pretty tight, and it stayed pretty well. I didn't have any
that would be a
issues
good
with
use for that pocket. Yeah, that was another thing about the front pockets is they're not super secure because not all of them have, like, there's only one zippered secure pocket if you're carrying the front water flasks.
Right. Which is, I mean, it's tiny. It's enough to fit in some goos and shoes in there, but my phone definitely couldn't fit.
Yeah, I couldn't fit my phone in there either.
And it has the straps here for
trekking poles. Yeah, on both sides
here. It's pretty comfortable, but it's not as tight and fitting as I would like it to be.
Yeah, I'd probably have to size down to like a small, extra small to get a better idea of fit. But a good vest for like long, hard efforts for sure, as far as having plenty of water storage and general storage for other clothes and nutrition.
So the Ultimate Direction Ultra Vesta, a really great option for somebody looking for soft flask design, good amount of storage, could potentially benefit from the stowage straps in the back, light, breathable vest. So check them out. You can go to Ultimate Direction's website direct. We really encourage you to still shop local where you can. So if you've got a local run specialty retailer or something within a short drive, please stop in, check them out, see if they've got it to try on. If you're really interested, see if they'll order it in for you. And please support your local retailers. So thanks for tuning in to this one, and we will catch you on the next round. See ya!